So you came to the States. What was your plan in coming here? Because you must have had one, right?
So,
you didn't just pick up and like, I'm going to go to the States to eat McDonald's.
Because at the time I was working in Ghana, I was making $800 a month. Worse, actually, because the cost of living is higher compared to Ghana. Not a roommate, roommates. Our education back home is the best. You're paying 70 grand for the same knowledge. I paid $100. Even with that, I was struggling. I applied to literally thousands of jobs, right?
Thousands?
Think about it. I think I came in with $2,000.
Oh my gosh, that's nothing.
It went down so quick.
I always say to people, like, every Ghanaian that I know lives in Washington.
Because I was stupid when I was in Ghana, right? Very stupid, because right from engineering school. And then recently we found out that Ghana is importing onions from Mali. Because when we go to school, we watch a lot of movies and subliminally it changes how we think. They'll call you local, right? Everything you're doing, they'll say, oh, look at her, she's some local girl. I've mentally packed and left twice this week.
This week, you know?
This week alone.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Dela, and today I'm currently with, what name do you prefer to use?
Kwasi Nkrumah is better.
Kwasi Nkrumah. Ha! Such a strong name. So we are over stateside at the moment.
Yep.
And so maybe you could tell me a little bit about yourself, because you are Ghanaian.
Yeah, I'm Ghanaian. Full-blown, full-blooded.
Full-blown. Okay. And how long have you been in the States for?
Roughly 9 years now. 8-9 years now.
Okay. Yeah. So you were born and raised in Ghana?
Born and raised in Ghana, schooled in Ghana, moved around a little bit and then settled here. So.
Okay. So what brought you to the States? Why did you come here instead of like living your whole life in Ghana?
I know, right? Isn't it what they call the brain drain?
Okay.
So went to school in Ghana, high school, and then college, university in Ghana. And then followed the brain drain instead of staying home to help. So, guilty.
Okay. So what age were you when you left Ghana?
I was in my mid-20s. So,
that's funny.
Yeah. So, most people usually right after college, they migrate, come out here to see greener pastures. So, we followed along. That's not to say there are no opportunities back home. So, learned that later.
Okay. So you came to the States. What was your plan in coming here? Because you must have had one, right? You didn't just pick up and like, I'm going to go to the States to eat McDonald's. You know, like
you would be surprised. So when I was coming, the intention was to stay for like 3 years. And I did some calculation that was really interesting. I was like, because at the time I was working in Ghana, I was making $800 a month. At the time.
That's not a bad salary for Ghana, you know?
Yeah. And then I think I had seen a couple opportunities out here and I was like, if I come out here and I make $3,000 a month and I even save $2,000 for 1 year, that would be like $24,000. I'm packing my bags and I'm going back to Ghana to start a business. 8 years later.
Wow. But were you able to reach your savings goal though?
At the time, I mean, it's a whole process. You think you're going to spend 3 years and save the 24 grand and go back home. And then you get here and then you're like,
good.
Wait.
Right. So this is really good, right? Because I think some people have this notion that it's going to be easy. You come here because you're earning dollar. You're going to hold on to all those dollars. So what was the shock factor for you in terms of earning money moving here?
Right. So when I got here, it didn't work out like that. So
I bet it didn't.
Obviously, so the first year, I think it was $400 every 2 weeks that I was making.
Okay, so the same thing as Ghana, basically.
Pretty much worse, actually, because the cost of living is higher compared to Ghana for the first year until subsequently when it got better. But yeah, I went through it.
So what was so how did you live? Because $800 a month living here, what accommodation could you afford?
So most people who come from Ghana to the US to start life, the gospel truth is if you come not everybody is even making 800 a month, right? And for me, I was living in a remote area in Ohio.
Okay.
And over there, relatively, the cost of living was lower compared to the average American cost of living. And so even with that, you have not a roommate, roommates.
Really?
Yeah, that's how it started.
How many did you have?
So at the time, we had like a 3-bedroom, and we were about 5 to 6. The reason I'm saying 5 to 6 is one of them was traveling, and so when they are gone, there's a little bit of leeway, and the rest were all juggling around. So yeah, that's and the South and some people live like that for several years. They are unable to escape to move on to the next step.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So how did you transition out of that situation? Because I mean, like I'll just say I came into his house and I was like, wow, this is nice. So you're doing well for yourself.
It's okay. It can be better. But from there, I mean, the good thing for me is I went to engineering school back home in Ghana, and this is something that I've been preaching over and over, that our education back home is the best. It's a message that I carry.
Right.
I see a lot of news, a lot of content out there, people complaining about education system, but it's actually all false. Why? I studied electrical engineering, specialized in telecom engineering. Now, the same content that I studied back home is the same content that they are teaching at MIT, right?
Okay.
How much did I pay? My school fees at the time was roughly $100 per semester. MIT, that is like 70 to 100 grand in a year that you have to pay for the same knowledge, right? So that is why I say our education is the best, because you're paying 70 grand for the same knowledge. I paid $100. Even with that, I was struggling. I was struggling to pay my parents.
Wow.
Yeah, it was tough. But compare, if you compare and you contrast, you see I'm getting so much value for my money compared to somebody who went to school here.
Did you value the education that you were getting over there, or did you think that getting that same education in America would be different before you'd experienced it?
At the time, I didn't have the experience. I had not been exposed to the American system or the British system or any foreign system until I got here and I looked at their curriculum and I realized it's the same thing that was taught back home in Ghana.
But did your certificate translate to over here? Were you able to use it, or did you have to do some things again?
So unlike the medical fields where when you get here you still have to take the board, the technical field like in engineering, IT, computing, when you get here you'll be interviewed. So they will know if you know.
I see. So that's all you had to do?
Yeah, so I had experience. I worked in Ghana, corporate Ghana for some time. I had a ton of experience from there. I made sure I acquired a lot from there. So every problem I was tackling it, everything I want to be on there. And then when I got here, it was the same thing. But I noticed after that first year when I was shocking with my roommates, of course I went through the process of interviewing. The first job that I got wasn't just one interview. And that's the same thing I teach on my channel, that it will take you some time. I applied to literally thousands of jobs, right?
Thousands?
Think about it. There are so many opportunities. There were like hundreds of thousands of opportunities out here in my field, right?
Yeah.
But you can't sit there and apply to 3 of them and think that for the first time you will get it. I applied to so many, right? Really? I'll go on LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, apply to all of them. And it's like a broadcast, right?
Yeah.
So you broadcast to everybody and you pick some of it. And guess what? I only got 3 interviews out of that.
Out of the thousands?
All of them, yeah. So if you're out there thinking you only applied to 100 jobs and it's enough, it's not enough. Yeah, think of it as sales, right? You're doing sales. Eventually, you have the skill. You know you have the skill.
Yeah.
But then eventually, you have to push before you find the customer. Right?
Okay. Yeah. So did you get your dream job?
Eventually, yes. I got
through
one
through
those applications. Went through a rigorous interview process. Got my first job in IT. And the good thing is, they were like, "Oh, you're good enough, so you don't have to come to the office. You can work from home."
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. So that's how it started. So after the first year, hustling, second year when I started working, since I've been working from home since till now.
So how were you making, just to go back a bit, so how were you able to support yourself when you first came to the States and you didn't have a job during that time?
Yeah, it was based off of the savings that I came in with. I think I came in with $2,000.
Oh my gosh, that's nothing.
It went down so quick.
Shock to the system.
It went down so quick. Wow. And I went through the system. You know, I had friends who supported me. One of my friends, Daniel Kwetia, he supported me through the whole process. Eventually found my feet. That's the thing. That's the good thing about the Ghanaian community, right? So
'cause it's strong here in the States.
Here in the States, at least in Ohio, too. Ohio is not that strong, but at least within the area where I was, there was a strong Ghanaian community. And then in the DMV, yes, it's very strong.
Very strong. Yeah. I always say to people, like, every Ghanaian that I know lives in Washington. I'm like, is there any other place that Ghanaians are? They all seem to be collected here. I'm like, what is here?
I honestly did not know it was stronger because I moved here from Ohio after I got a job here. I was coming for the job knowing nothing about the demographics. And here we are still.
Wow, okay. So do you feel like there's anything that you would have changed in your experience of moving from Ghana to here? Like, what advice would you give to someone who's trying to come?
So now when people call me, what I tell them is, I know too much now that I wish I had stayed in Ghana and had the opportunity to visit and move back and forth.
Really? You wouldn't have come here full time?
No, not full time.
Really?
Because I was stupid when I was in Ghana, right? Very stupid. Because right from engineering school, it's great. I mean, fine. You can go through the corporate channel, get a job, start working, get your little salary. But then your bachelor's degree, at least from what I teach my mentors, my mentees, is that it should prepare you to look for opportunities within where you live, right? That's what the bachelor's degree lecturer is saying, that we are preparing you, go out there and make it. It does not say, and that's what we always miss, and I missed it too, it does not say if you studied engineering, you at all costs have to find a career in engineering. It says that go into the society, find an opportunity around you and make it better. Now, I come from Western region in Ghana, in Nzama specifically. We have lots and lots of coconuts, right? Okay, this way I'm telling you I was stupid, very stupid. So lots and lots of them, right? People come from Kumasi, Takoradi, Accra to buy them for cheap. And then what are they doing with it? Some are exporting, some are converting it into oil, some are eating the raw fruits, right? And I come from there. I have a bachelor's degree. So right after school, I'm applying, trying to work for a multinational, trying to work for a big company. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great experience. But then not everybody will get opportunity like I got to get into the multinational.
Right.
So if I started looking and say, hey, there are so many hundreds of thousands of coconuts here. Why not take the dry coconuts, send proposals to UAE? Because at least now I know that there's a huge demand for coconuts in the UAE. So many companies want it. And then send them samples if they like it. Gather all these women. Because I come from the place. If I say, bring me the coconut, they know me. So they'll bring it, put it in a container, ship it, get my fares, proceeds, and then continue that business. Just that can take me further than where I am right now.
So, okay, so I know that some people watching this would say, so why don't you do that now?
Right now I'm in the process of doing it as part of it, but of course I'm championing it with other people. Not necessarily something that I should have started when I was back home, but I thought I had to follow the corporate route. Okay, how many people from school? Maybe thousands graduating from a department, right? Not everybody can go through the corporate channel and get that little salary. You can start something from yourself. So that's just one. And then recently we found out that Ghana is importing onions from Mali.
Believe it.
So, so it's like you went to school for a bachelor's degree. Look around you. There's so many things you can do. So that's what we miss, but we are still on track.
So do you think that a lot of people, because they're in Ghana, they have an attitude where they feel like there's no opportunities here, so their goal is to always think that they can make it better in the West
In the West, and then or maybe something else. Yeah, that's what we all think.
Where did that come from?
I think the West did a great job in branding that. Because when we go to school, we watch a lot of movies, and subliminally, it changes how we think. It shapes how we view the world, right? Even to the point where I come from in Nzima, the beaches there, free access, so beautiful. It's not even comparable. Miami is not comparable to the beaches where I come from in Nzima, Western region. But when you're there, when you live there, you for some reason don't even appreciate it.
What you have,
until you get here and you're trying to get to Miami Beach and they're asking you to pay $100 to sit at the beach on a chair. You know those umbrellas, the beach chairs. You pay $100 and then they'll give it to you to sit there. To sit at that beach.
Really?
I'm coming from Nzima and that beach was free, right?
Access.
They program us to think that way, and because we watch their movies, we see their lifestyle, we listen to their songs. Subliminally, it programs our mindset, you know, the subconscious, for us to think that it is better out here. That's not to say it's not great. It's great, but it makes us forget that what we have out there is actually even greater.
Okay, so what do you think is the solution to combating something like that?
Oh, that is going to be a big problem, because right now, if you look on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, they'll call you local, right? Everything you're doing, they'll say, oh, look at her, she's some local girl, she's a local guy.
Yeah, it's a term,
everything he's doing is local. Hey, me bro for Sam, right? They act like, okay, the white man thing is... So for some reason, it's become a part of our culture and the way we do things. And if we want to take it out, we have to do like Japan did, like the Chinese did. They did not throw away their culture. They embellished it. So if you go to Japan, their culture, the way they dress, the way they talk, their respect, where they bow down, that is made a part of the culture. So the kids from a young age in school, they inculcate that in them, and then they grow with it, and they don't throw it away. So if you go to Japan, and sometimes you deviate a little bit from their culture, they look down upon you, they think you're disrespectful, because that's how they were raised. Until we tackle it from there, it ain't going nowhere.
Do you think that it's a problem because we have so many people from the West now coming into Ghana that it's going to dilute the culture a bit? Not
necessarily. I don't think so, because the footfall in terms of tourism in Japan is higher than in Ghana, right? But if your foundations, like the kids, the way they treat... So in Japan, for instance, the kids, they don't have cleaners in the schools. The kids clean on a daily basis, right? So that's something that they've inculcated in them. So when the World Cup, right? When it's done, when Japan plays, when it's done, you see what they do? They all go around cleaning the stadium. They clean the whole place, because that's how they've now think about it. It wasn't like that before World War II. Japan was very aggressive. They didn't have that culture. So the leadership sat down after the bombings of Hiroshima and Ko, and they're like, we need to reshape the generation that is coming. So it wasn't like that before. If it was like that before, then you would say that's how they are. They sat down at some point and then inculcated that behavior and culture into them. And then eventually they picked that lifestyle along with their traditions, and then they took it along. So if we want to solve that problem, we have to start from there. Maybe me and you, our generation, will die and go. But the ones that are coming, they can pick up that lifestyle and then value what we have in terms of our culture in Ghana and carry it along to the next generations that are coming.
So what has your journey been like since you've been here and you had the IT job? Because obviously you stayed longer than you had expected. You've been through 3 years and you end up doing 8 years.
Yeah.
So what has kept you here?
So now, fortunately, I have a family. And that's the bit. Once you start a family, you are stuck. You cannot live the life that I advise folks who call me, hey, I want to come to the US. And then when they get here, I'm like, look, try and live your life where you are free to go in and out. This is a big world out there. So if you're going to come stay out here, explore, do your business, do it. When you're done, go. Go to some other country. Once you start a life here, you are stuck. Why? You can't look at your daughter's face and say, you know what, I'm packing and I'm going back to Ghana. You're going to be like, Daddy, what about school? Right? So when you get to that point, it becomes very, very tough to just pack. I've mentally packed and left twice this week.
This week, you know?
This week alone, mentally packed and left twice. Seriously.
Wow.
I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I think it's time to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to live at the beach and just enjoy it.
So did you marry a Ghanaian?
Yeah.
And did she not have the same dream as you to go back?
And that's the thing. Eventually, when you settle down, you get married, they also have their dreams. They have their family back home. Now, this is the conundrum that we face, right?
Yeah.
Back home, you have family, you have friends. Of course, the exchange rate, right?
Yeah.
So if you send $1, it's 16. It's 15 back home. As of now, 2025. The dollar is 16. So if you send $10 or if you send $20, they are happy. Now, you come here, you keep doing it, it becomes something that they rely on you, becomes a pattern. And then now, all of a sudden, this kid that is relying on you, they're in university, they're in college, the money is not coming anymore because now you're back home. So you carry all that responsibility on your shoulders, and then it becomes a pattern that you have to keep doing for them and for yourself. And so you are living, you know, there's some type of life where you're in between. You're like, let me just go home. And then you're like, oh no, you have kids. And then you know really what stops me from going back home every time I pack my bags in my head? Social security.
Really? Okay, tell me about that.
Yeah, so when you stay here for 10 years, you qualify for social security, right? So do I pack? I mean, I have businesses back home. So do I pack and go home and just rely on my business, or do I continue to get my social security here? What's going to happen when I'm 65, when I'm 60? So that is, most people really want to go home. These are the things that are pulling them back because you have to start thinking after 65, even if you're getting $1,000, back home is enough. And that is why they are saying that Africa is a graveyard for those of us living here. But if you really think about it, that's how it's going to be for most people, because you've worked 10 years here, you qualify for social security here. Do you leave that and go back home and start a business or continue your business and forget about that social security? And it's like you are treading, you know, in waters that you are not sure of. What if the business collapses? It doesn't work. Regime changes, things happen back home, and then you lose all that, and then you lose your social security here. And that's why most people stay on till 65 before they come home. But there's a thing on the streets, in the grapevine, they're like, oh, these people, they'll wait till they're 60 before they come. And they won't come, and they won't come. No, it goes beyond that, right? So
I can understand that fear, but at the same time, nothing is stable. Like social security, who knows, even if 10 years time, social security is still going to be there, or it's going to be at the amount that you think it is. Like, so many things can be implemented, especially with what's happening with Trump right now. He's making a lot of changes. Your social security could also gone. I'm a great believer in you go with your guts and you follow that. And you set yourself up, because you can't always rely on somebody else to do that for you. So there's still a risk
Yeah, there's
Even if you're
a
saying
risk.
that, you know?
There's a risk. You should rather look at it from a point of, okay, this is my residence. I should have the freedom of, even though I have my social security, that shouldn't stop me from going back home.
Yeah.
Right? You're traveling the world now. You're in the US now. Tomorrow you're probably going to be in Europe. You're going to go back to Ghana.
Yeah.
Your social security is secure in the UK. You don't care about that. Right? That is really where the conversation should be. It should be more of, let's see it as a global village.
Yeah.
Where I live in the US, this is where my social security is. I should be able to go back home to Ghana and stay there for 6 months, do some business, start a business, employ people so that, then move there to go to China, go to Europe, and, travel the world easily without having to be stuck out here so much. But in terms of making, say, Ghana your primary residence, it doesn't matter. The US can be or the UK can be your primary residence.
Yeah.
And then you can go to Ghana, stay there every 4 months and come back to wherever you live so that you sort of balance it out.
So you live in both worlds.
Yeah, you live in both worlds. That ideally is what we black people should do. And I think that's the optimal solution to the problem.
Okay. So you said you have businesses in Ghana.
Yep.
How are you able to keep those ticking over if you're not there? Because let's be honest, sometimes you have business in Ghana. Somebody can collapse your business for you tomorrow if they want to. How are you able to keep those businesses afloat?
I'm involved on a day-to-day basis. So besides cameras are everywhere. Now, but I could be in Ghana, and maybe the business is in the Western region. It's a beach resort called Venice View Beach Resort. I also have a water company and some real estate. And
what do you mean by a water company?
Bottling and then a pure water.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's H2O.
Okay.
It serves the Western region mostly. I call it H2O. Funny, right?
Very creative.
Yes, yeah. Of all the names. Okay.
At least you know what it is.
Yeah. And then the resort is also in the Western region, Venice View. Now, I'm involved day to day, right? There are challenges in that area, especially in the tourism area. So many challenges. One, weekend, you're full. You have so many people coming, you can't accommodate them. Monday, Tuesday, you're empty everywhere. So how do you solve that problem?
Yeah.
How do you solve that problem? So that is number one challenge we are facing right now is footfall, where Saturday, Sunday, everywhere is booked. And the more people are coming, right, you can accommodate them. But Tuesday, Wednesday, it's empty where no one is coming. So that is my problem of the year that I'm trying to solve. So that's one thing. And then two, of course, at least I build a relationship with my workers where you can call me directly. You can text me directly if there's a problem. I don't treat it like the way corporate Ghana, corporate America works. It's more like if you have a problem, we can all sit down the Ghanaian way and talk about it and trash it out. And then I build a relationship to the point where when the managers are not performing, they themselves tell me that, look, I enjoy the relationship I have with you. This thing is not working out. I have to go. You will know.
Yeah.
I don't do the corporate style where I'm trying to be on you, where,
I don't think that really works in Ghana anyway. It really
doesn't.
doesn't. Yeah.
The personal relationships works where you have clear targets where they have to meet. And if they are unable to meet it, they will tell you, this is above me. Can you move me to another department? Do I need more training? Bring somebody. That's really where I try to push it towards. But in terms of revenue, it's challenging. Very challenging.
So do you think a lot of people that are in Ghana are facing things like this in their business, in their individual businesses?
Yeah, so many businesses. I'll tell you what, the water company makes me more than the resort. But when people hear I have a resort, they think I'm making a lot of money from the resort. I make more from the water.
Really?
So now I start looking at businesses in that regard. Of course, in terms of equity, the resort has more equity in terms of equity because of the infrastructure.
Yes.
But the thing with Ghana is you can't go to a bank and say, cash out the equity from my property for me. Give me $2 million.
Yeah.
it doesn't work unless it's here, right? But in terms of revenue, yeah, you make more from the water compared to the resort.
Wow, okay. What would you say is the biggest lesson you learned having moved from Ghana to the States?
The biggest lesson for me was that I don't know if you're gonna put this out there, but I noticed that we as a people, I mean me and my people, we are very, very slow and we don't pay attention to detail. And you can edit some parts out, it's up to you.
No, I don't edit all.
I don't edit. We are not even aware we are living in squalor, in filth, in total dirt back home. Mentally, we are not aware. And this is something that a lot of people fight me for, even some of my friends. When I call it out, they fight me.
But that's how you get better, by people calling things out.
So now I learned to, maybe the way I say it is not coming across more emotionally intelligent. So I try to say it in a way where it's not poignant to evoke some emotions, right? So we are not even aware that, we are living in total dirt.
Are you talking about literal dirt?
Yeah, back home. At least I can talk for Ghana. But I'm sure other African countries have similar issues. We are not aware mentally. Why? We can't even plant common trees and grass. You don't need $1 million to do that. You don't need 100,000 to do that. If it's a project where even high school or elementary school students say, hey, your community where you live, make sure there is grass and trees. That is really what made these countries, the West, Europe, everywhere beautiful. Just grass on the floor, trees interspersed on the streets, right? Not back home.
Yeah.
So I learned that when I moved here, and then it made me question myself that these are simple things, and we have our leaders traveling back here, and then they don't even copy and paste over there. Right, because most people are coming out here, they say it's beautiful, it's beautiful. Now, if you look at these properties out here, if you take out the grass and you take out the trees, it looks like Ghana.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, it will look like Ghana. It's just the grass between the front of the house and the road.
Yeah.
Just that space between the front of the house and the road is grass. In between the houses, some trees. The back of the house, there are trees and some greenery. Filling in the dust. If we do that back home, a lot of people will not need to think this place is a better place than, because it will even be better because we have summer all year round, right? So in the winter years out here, it's less. So that's something that I learned, and I keep it with me, and even in my businesses, I always tell them, look, you guys need to plant a lot of grass. Put trees out there because the seeds are there. Even back home, it's free. Grass will just grow.
You see, my issue with that is I feel like there's such a lack of maintenance culture in Ghana too, that you can put these things down and within however long someone will destroy it. I don't know whether it's lack of education or whatever. It just doesn't last.
It's the same thing here. That's the same thing. That's the same thing here. If you plant the grass and the trees. And there is no enforcement. The folks from the ghettos, they will come and destroy it. The difference is it's enforced here.
Right.
When they get you, there is no pastor or old man coming to beg. And so release him. Right? And so one time I was having a conversation with my friends, and they're like, oh, if you were given the chance to lead a section of the country, what would you do? I said, I'll build a lot of prisons first.
Really?
Yeah. And not long sentences, maybe weeks, maybe months. And then when you get there, you work to green other parts of the country. And maybe I'll stay on for 4 years, but after 40 years, they'll remember that I did that part. Yeah.
That's really good.
Enforcement is a problem.
Yes.
We are human. It's terrible, actually, much more terrible here in America, because the people are here here are very stubborn.
Guys listening.
They are very stubborn. So if you don't enforce it, they will do all the bad things that are happening back home in Ghana. Back home, they don't enforce it. So they think they can get away with it. They will not walk over the thing. They'll cross the street. No tickets, no fines, nothing. But if you're doing that, and you know the beautiful thing, it's also going to help solve some of the unemployment. Because if I fine you, I'll need people to go around to collect the fine or maybe enforce it. And then if you don't pay, maybe you can't renew your passport, you can't get a passport, you can't get access to your bank account. You'll be forced to pay the fine. So it becomes a sort of an internally generated fund that you can use to solve the graduate unemployment issue. So it's not like you're looking at it from a human point of view. Oh, they fined me, I don't have money to pay. It's more of recycling, circling the money around and channeling it somewhere else. Because you decided to cause an infraction, so you take your money and use it to pay a graduate who's fresh out of school. So enforcement is big out here. I have some tickets.
Oh, okay, that's really good. So, like, you seem very, very smart to me. Do you think that a lot of the knowledge that you have now is because you've been here and you've had certain levels of exposure?
No, it's all from Ghana. Yeah.
I think people underestimate what Ghana can teach you so much. We just feel like Ghana, we're stuck here. We're born into this prison.
Anybody who tells you that did not take their Ghana education seriously, and so the curriculum that they were given, they did not study. It's the same thing that we're given. So they did not study. If you study, you will have the world. I did not come from a good home where we had a lot of money. It was all books. And where I have my resort right now is where I used to go lie under one coconut and read my books.
Really?
So it's sort of nostalgic for me. It was all books, and I had to move out here on scholarship. Actually, when I was coming, I had scholarships from Europe, 3 countries in Europe, Saudi Arabia,
really?
Hong Kong, the US, all over, just because I studied and I wrote, of course, GRE, TOEFL. And that's how I got scholarships to move out here. So not necessarily, rich home, ship you here to come out. Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting. So you can actually create these opportunities yourself. You
yourself.
Don't have to have a background of having wealth or someone has to sponsor you. Like, there are sponsorships and things that you can do.
Yep, there are so many of them. I got there. I was the only person who was selected for the Czech government scholarship in Ghana that year, but I didn't go, obviously. The ambassador literally called my mom and said, "Where is this guy?" Because they have an exam that they wrote, and then they select 1 or 2 people. And Czech, I did Hong Kong, I did 2 other countries in Europe. I got 2 schools in Saudi Arabia. Sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, because they were giving very good stipends at the time. Saudi Arabia was paying $2,000 a month for just a stipend to come and study, right? But I followed the crowd. I had my mind on the US. The
great US,
the UK was the only one that gave me partial scholarship. I'm like, okay. And you are supposedly my colonizers.
Okay, so what's, apart from the coconut business, what is one business that you think that people should look into in Ghana right now that would be really great?
So if I got out of school, say I did not do engineering, I did not study anything, I have a regular arts degree or degrees that we are known not to, be out there, I will go into the greening industry.
What?
The greening.
Really?
Yeah. So there are so many communities being built in Ghana. So landscaping, essentially. Landscaping. Because I gave you a problem.
Yeah.
So that is a problem. And I gave you that problem. It's the number 1 problem in Ghana. So if you go to a community like East Legon Airport, or even new developments like East Legon Hills, and then you're a group of 5, right? Research the plants, the greens, the grass that you can plant and how you keep it, and then have everybody who is building there subscribe to your company, right? and then green their front, the sides, the back, plant nice trees,
Yeah.
and then take care of it on a weekly basis with your team. Right? And make sure they pay you if it's 100 cedis every month. Every house you have to pay.
Yeah.
Serve them a bill, sign a contract with them,
Yeah.
make it a communal thing, and then they pay you every month. And then keep it nice and clean, keep it nice and clean. And then when you see a new development, you acquire them, go there, talk to them, and then start doing that for them. It's fun. One, you are making money from it. Two, you are solving a major problem within the country itself. Just doing landscaping. Yeah, and you might have folks who have houses individually who want you to come and just do nice landscaping in there and then keep it.
Yes.
On so not just so right now what they have in Ghana is they just go weed and they go not just that
get your
take
cutlass.
it to, yeah, just that, no, not that, take it to a level where the grass is the right species, the trees and the shrubs is a nice one, where aesthetically is pleasing and is blending within the community.
Yeah.
And then say you take one community, East Legon Hills, and you do that, and you plant well-spaced trees at Christmas, and then you put the Christmas lights around there, and then shoot it and post it out there. Every community will want to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's really what makes out here, you know, look nice.
It's true, actually, because when I came from the airport, I was like, is it Christmas? I think I even made a comment. I was like, is it Christmas? People have got like Christmas lights up. It's not even Christmas time yet. I'm like, why does it look so bright? Why does everything look so like fun, you know?
Yep. Yeah, that's one thing that I was telling a colleague of mine. With that, you don't even need capital.
Yeah.
You just need enough water and money to move from house to house and then have them subscribe.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody will say no to you within the community, especially with the dust problem.
Because that solves that,
It will solve the dust because the grass is right in between and right in front. You solve the dust problem when they get out. You know, you can put some small rocks in between there and then they walk out to the main road. Of course, the main road, you can't do anything about it. That's like the government. But at least between their house and the main road, it looks pleasing until once the main road is done, everything blends in. And then you start... You can make a lot of money doing that. You know?
I like that. Very smart man. So where can... In fact, is there anything that you'd like to say before we wrap up? Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, there's a lot on my mind, but I'm super excited you made it here. Do you have any plan? How long are you staying?
I'm here till almost the end of April.
Oh, April.
So, I see. I've got a couple more weeks.
I wish I had that opportunity to be like you, where I can pack my bag and be like, let me go to the US for 3 months. From here, I'm sure you'll probably go to Europe, stay there for another 3 months, go back home to UK, and then Ghana. Ideally, that's how I want to live my life. So if I leave, I'm going to live the way you're living, traveling the world. Because she just got here from Ghana and she's about to go.
But it's not that easy because, as you say, like, family makes it difficult because I have kids. And so I was like, you have to make those arrangements. But hey, if not, Charlie, you see, today Hong Kong, tomorrow China, to next week America, in Europe, I'll be everywhere.
So that's really what I want to do. And so to wrap it up, one big project that we are doing in the Western region is, I talked about the Miami story, right? We are converting that whole stretch so for those of you who know where the Ghana gas is, along that beach, beautiful beaches. So we've secured funding, and we are converting that whole stretch into like a tourism hub to draw crowds from around the world to come. And because the people there, most of the women, the older men I talk to, that's where I'm from. They don't even have social security. They don't have any means of employment. So we are trying to not just create, turn that whole area into a tourism hub, but then also create employment for them. So it requires a paradigm shift. So that means I have to start talking to my people and say, hey, start smiling, start being hospitable. Because when the people come around, you want to exude that, aura around you that you like people like you. That way you draw more crowd, more business, and we all profit from it. And then at least my people can benefit from it. So
I love that.
something that we are working on.
I love that. So you said you had a YouTube channel. What's it called?
No, I'm more active on Instagram.
On Instagram. What's your handle?
So I am Nkrumah. I am Nkrumah.
Okay.
I think most people follow. So if you check on I am Nkrumah, if you DM me, I respond.
Okay. That's nice.
Yeah,
That's nice.
yeah.
Okay. So I'll put some of your businesses into.
Yeah. I can send you some videos you can post over there
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, that'd be nice.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, welcome to the States. Let's
Thank
enjoy.
you.
It's getting warm too, right?
I know. I was like,
it's
hey,
getting warm.
there's a couple of days where I was really cold. I was like, send me back.
Yeah,
Let them deport me.
You have this strong hands, keeping you warm. So you're good.
He tries. He tries.
He's trying. Yeah, I'm following small. See, I say, hey, you and him, you are really chopping like. And he's a fine gentleman.
Hey, he's hiding behind the camera.
I knew him before you got here.
Really?
Yeah, I did not know you guys were talking.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we hang out from time to time.
Okay,
so.
nice.
Yep.
Okay, well, there you go, guys. I think you've given us so much knowledge. You've said a lot of things that I think is really good for people to go and ponder on.
Yep.
I think one of the things that you really highlighted was the fact that you don't actually have to come here in order to create a really good life for yourself and to have, to put some meaning out there into the world. So I really like the fact that you've given us like balanced perspective for what it's really like living in both worlds.
In both worlds.
Hopefully you guys will listen and pay attention and
follow
him on social media.
Yep.
He's got a lot to say over there.
And
that's it. So guys, that's the end of today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Don't forget to also like, comment and share this video. Until next time, we are out.
Peace out.
Yay.